There is one great truth we spend our entire lives trying to ignore, that our time here is limited. We act as if tomorrow is guaranteed, putting off our dreams, our kindness, our very purpose, for a future that may never arrive. What if the secret to a vibrant, meaningful life wasn't in ignoring death, but in embracing it? The Stoics believed that by keeping our mortality in mind, we could finally begin to live with clarity, purpose, and urgency. Today, let's learn how to use the thought of the end to truly begin. Imagine today is the end. Let us therefore set our soul in order, as if we have reached the very end. Let us postpone nothing, so that every day we may be square with life. He who finishes the business of his life each evening is not in need of time. Seneca, Moral Letters to Lucilius. Life every day as if it were your last is a cliché. Many say it, few do it. But how reasonable is it anyway? Of course, Seneca is not suggesting we forget the law and partake in some orgy because the world is coming to an end. It is better to consider the analogy of a soldier being sent to the front. It is unknown whether he will return or not. So what does he do? He puts all his affairs in order. He tells his children and family that he loves them. He doesn't waste time on quarrels or trifles. And in the morning, he is ready to leave, hoping to return safe and sound, but prepared for the possibility that he will not. Let's live in the same way today. Don't mind me, I'm just slowly dying. To do everything, to speak and to think as a person who is ready to depart from life. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. This practice of living as if today is your last isn't just a useful thought experiment. The Stoics would argue it is a simple acknowledgement of reality. Everyone is familiar with the question, what would you do if you found out tomorrow that you have cancer? The question makes you think about what your life could be like if you suddenly knew you had only a few months or weeks to live. Nothing stimulates a person as much as a fatal illness. But here's the thing, you already have a terminal diagnosis. We all do. As the writer Edmund Wilson noted, death is the only prophecy that always comes true. Every person is born with a death sentence. And you can never get back a single second that has passed. Realizing this will have a huge impact on what you will do, say, and think next. Don't let a single day go by without realizing the fact that you are dying. We are all dying. Maybe today is the day we stop pretending otherwise. The philosopher is a master of life and death. Philosophy promises to give a person nothing that relates to the external world. Otherwise, it would be taking on something outside its own subject matter. For just as wood is the subject of the carpenter, and bronze of the sculptor, so the life of each is the subject of the art of living. Epictetus, Discourses. Once we accept this profound truth, that we are all slowly dying, the most important question becomes, how do we live and die well? For this, the ancients gave us a specific craft. Philosophy is not some empty pursuit, suitable only for scholars or the wealthy. On the contrary, it is one of the most important activities for a person. Its purpose, as the American writer and philosopher Henry Thoreau formulated it several thousand years after Epictetus, is to help us solve some of life's problems not only theoretically, but also practically. This is perfectly consistent with Cicero's famous phrase, "To philosophize is to learn how to die." You are not reading these quotes and doing these mental exercises for entertainment. They may bring joy and help enlighten you, but their main purpose is to help you shape and perfect your life. And since everyone has only one life and one death, we must be like a sculptor with a chisel and work until, to paraphrase Michelangelo, we have freed the angel from the marble. We try to play our complex role, to live and to die, as best we can. To do this, we need to remember what we have learned and the wise words we have known. You don't own this. For this He, God, gave opportunities, giving some things to each as their own, and others as not their own, everything subject to hindrance, subject to being taken away, subject to compulsion, is not their own, while everything not subject to hindrance, is their own. Epictetus Discourses. This art of living and dying well requires us to understand the nature of our attachments. If our own lives are not truly ours to keep forever, what does that say about everything else we try to hold on to? The nature conservationist Daniel O'Brien remarked that he doesn't own his giant ranch in South Dakota, he just lives there as long as the bank allows him to make the mortgage payments. This joke is about the economic realities of ranching, but it also suggests that the land does not belong to a person, that it will outlive us and our descendants. Marcus Aurelius said, "We have nothing of our own, and even our lives are on loan." We are ready to cling greedily, to fight, and to labor for the possession of things, but they can disappear in the blink of an eye. The same goes for everything else. What we would like to consider our own is equally unreliable, be it status, physical health or strength, or relationships. How can they be truly ours if anything other than ourselves, chance, adversity, death, can take them away from us without warning? So what do we own? Only our life, and even that, not for long. The benefit of sober thinking. Death and exile and all that appears dreadful, let these be daily before your eyes, but chiefly death, and you will never entertain any abject thought, nor too eagerly desire anything. Epictetus, Enchiridion. So we don't own our possessions, or even our lives. This might sound terrifying. But Epictetus argues that keeping this sober reality in mind every day is not a source of fear, but a powerful tool for living a better life. Political winds can change in an instant, depriving you of the basic freedoms you take for granted. Or regardless of who you are and how careful you are, someone might rob and kill you for a couple of dollars. As it is written in the timeless epic of Gilgamesh, man is snapped off like a reed in a canebrake. The handsome young man, the beautiful young woman, all are taken too soon in the prime of life by death. Death is not the only thing that can ruin our plans, thousands of things can. Today, it might seem a little more pleasant to ignore such a possibility, but at what cost? Under the sword of Damocles. Do not live as if you have 1,000 years. Necessity hangs over you. While you live, while you can, be good. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations. This daily practice of contemplating our mortality is like living with a constant, sharp reminder of what is truly at stake. The ancients had a powerful story to illustrate this ever-present reality. There is a story about Damocles, a favorite of the tyrant Dionysius, who considered the ruler the happiest of mortals. To show the error of this view, the tyrant offered Damocles to take his throne for a day. In the midst of the merriment, the favorite suddenly discovered a naked sword hanging above him by a single horsehair. Thus, Dionysius showed the dangers and burdens of kingship, as well as the constant fear of assassination. Now, such an overhanging reminder of death, dangers, and difficulties is called the sword of Damocles. The reality is that a similar sword hangs over all of us. At any moment our life can be cut short. Such a threat offers us two directions: to be afraid and freeze with terror, or to use it as a motivator, to do good, to be good. The sword is suspended, and we have nothing more to worry about. Would you really prefer for it to fall during some shameful, selfish act? Would you really prefer for this to happen while you are merely planning to become good sometime in the future? Conclusion. The sword hangs above us all. This is not a cause for fear, but a call to action. A call to love fully, to act with integrity, and to waste no time on the trivial. To live a good life is to be prepared for its end. This is the profound gift of remembering our mortality. If you are ready to embrace this wisdom and live with more urgency and purpose, I invite you to subscribe and continue the journey. My heartfelt thanks to our partners for helping make this content possible. Supporting them is a wonderful way to support our channel. Let's make every moment count, together.